In a past video, I made the assertion that the current immigration into the West and into white countries will not proceed until all the whites are gone, that the elites need a certain number of whites to remain in order to preserve the level of civilization to which they are accustomed. At the time, I only asserted that idea, and I think that I ought to try to justify it. The question seems to be, can you replace a white population and maintain white civilization? If it is possible, then there's no reason not to get rid of all the whites. Can you take non-Europeans, non-whites, and teach them to be European? Maybe it is possible. Consider the example of pilots of aircraft. You can take somebody who is not a pilot and train them to be one. It must therefore be possible to take someone who is not something and make them that thing through training. But I think that two prerequisites are needed in order for this to work. The teaching or training is not enough on its own. In the case of pilots, we know that teaching or training is not enough on its own, because if it were, then anybody could be trained to be a pilot. Yet we know there are some people who will never be pilots no matter how much training they are given. For example, very stupid people, or very forgetful people, or people who are blind, etc. The two prerequisites are ingredients and desire. Consider ingredients. If you took a population of pilots and another population of non-pilots, you are bound to find group average differences in various metrics, such as IQ and personality. That would suggest that pilots have a type, and being of this type makes you more likely to be a pilot if you go through the training. The other prerequisite, desire, is obvious. People who do not want to be pilots do not become them, and anyone who becomes one must have wanted to be one. That is the logic for pilots and non-pilots. Now back to whites and non-whites. Do non-whites have the ingredients? Whites and non-whites do exhibit group average differences in IQ and personality. They have also historically produced different civilizations. These civilizations were built by groups of people for those groups. If the people are different, then what they produce is bound to be different. It seems obvious that you cannot divorce the people from what they create. Therefore, replacing Europeans and European ingredients with foreigners and foreign ingredients will not preserve a European/white civilization. Even if we assume that they have the ingredients, the question of desire becomes important. Do non-white groups desire to reproduce white civilization, even if they could? I think that the answer is no, for two reasons. First of all, it involves asking foreign people to abandon what makes them foreign in favor of being white. They are asked to give up what makes them non-white, the thing that they know best and that works for them, in favor of something that they do not know best. They can either stick to what they know and what works for them, or move to what they do not know and what might not work. Why would they agree to take that chance? We also see that they tend not to take that chance when given the choice. In Western countries today, they form parallel societies rather than integrate, because for them to integrate means to change, to take a chance, and they tend to avoid it. Second of all, consider the proposition. Why would non-whites want to adopt a white civilization when the white people who built it cannot keep it going themselves? The fact that this civilization requires foreigners to keep it going says something about it. If it was so great, then you would not need outsiders to come in to keep it going. Why should the outsiders adopt a failing civilization? Therefore, I do not believe that white civilization can continue without whites. The elites must know this, so they must intend for whites to continue to exist as whites.